I clicked the go live button. So
So it should be live.
theoretically, we should be
Let's
live.
see. Let's see. Oops, sorry. There we go. I can see myself.
Can you see yourself already? Okay, I
Yes.
can't. Hold on. I want
What
to
if
make
you
sure.
could
Okay, yes, it's working also on my end. And skip the ads. Okay, I see your beautiful face, Fabian. Welcome. Thanks a lot for taking the time for doing this breakdown. How's it
Oh, of
going?
course.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything good. Everything good. Was a lot of fun working on the project, and yeah, can't wait to
Did
show
you
everybody how I did it.
did you get a chance to see already some of the entries on the Facebook page?
Yes, I did. They look really really promising. Like I can't wait for all the other entries that come in.
Let me just give a quick shout out to the Facebook group, which is where we're actually inviting people to post their work and all the what is it called, the work in progress and stuff. This is called the D2 community. Can I actually get a link to the D2 community?
I don't
D2.
have it open right now. But...
I should have it somewhere. D2 community group. There it is. So I'm gonna post it into the. Hi Javier.
What's up, Javier?
So this is the actual group on Facebook. People can go, they can join, they can post their work in progress. You're also there, so you see when people post their stuff.
I see. Yeah.
Before we start the stream, a big shout out to our sponsors who allow us to make these challenges possible. Sinai, Maxon, and of course Autodesk. Autodesk is the main sponsor for all the activities that we do at the D2. This year, we're also basically sponsoring the challenges. The winner of the challenge gets a free ticket to the D2 conference, which is going to happen in real life in Vienna, I guess on the 25th, 26th, and 27th, if I don't mistake, of August, right? You're going to be there.
I will be there, yes.
So if all your fans and friends and family want to come and see you, they can do that.
Indeed, yes.
So Fabian, first of all, I'm very happy that you decided to be the actual artist behind the art for this project. I wanted to do an AKIRA project because I'm a fan myself. I'm a little bit older than you, so I guess that I was able to catch the shows when they were actually being published many years ago.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie as well?
Yes, I actually have a really funny story about that movie. Like my dad always had the video cassette of Akira in the like little desk for the video cassettes, and I always wanted to watch it because it had such a cool cover, and I never was allowed to because it's so brutal, or
Yeah.
at least they told me it was so brutal. I didn't know. So I actually watched it on my 16th birthday for the first time after like waiting for 10 years.
So your dad, he must not be that old. How old is your father if he was watching Akira? He must be
He
like,
is 53 right now.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, I was a little kid when I was watching it. I think I wasn't even a teen yet. And I do remember there was this one, Akira,
Yeah.
the anime series, and there was another one that was really brutal. It was The Feast of the North Star.
I have not seen that one yet. No.
Oh man, okay. Let's not get into the details, but that was something. It still is something, and actually, I have to try and find the real DVDs, because like you cannot find that stuff anywhere else.
Yeah.
But anyway, Fabian, it's actually weird to speak to you in English because we're both Italian and we speak
Yeah.
Italian to each other, but we have to put on the theater for the other ones watching from home. Anyway, you're the artist that actually did the art for this challenge. Would
Yes.
you mind pulling up the render
Oh
that
yeah.
you created and maybe walk
Sure.
us through the process?
Hold on. I have to. So yeah, this is the image that I created. using the Akira building pack that I did. It was actually my first model. No, it was my second model kit I've created, which is the free kit. If you participate in the challenge, you know that it's free. It's just like I think 20 buildings of like inspired by the Akira world, or like specifically by the cover. And yeah, I thought since I'm doing an Akira render challenge or an Akira render with my buildings, I thought I could try to create one of these very distinct looking areas of of the movie with like these very tiny tiny streets, dystopian looking streets with the giant buildings in the back. um, and yeah, it was actually quite it wasn't easy to create because like the the perspectives in the movie don't really match what real life would do, so I had to sort of you will see in the project file later that it's kind of it looks a little weird when you're not looking through the camera. And yeah, I also used various render passes to just have a little bit more control over post editing, which these are just like basic passes such as like the material ID, reflections, reflection ID, and ZDepth passes.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
starting really from the idea, did you make a mood board? Did you have, because I see a the icon there, yes,
Yes.
exactly, for what is
I
it
did.
called?
I actually named it Kanada because I thought it was called Kanada, but it's actually Kaneda.
Canada, it's Canada,
Yeah.
Canada's bike. That's the one.
Yeah, so these are like I only have 4 images in here to inspire me. Like this one with the sort of trenches, um, with the bike inside, and as you can see, like this is the alleyway that inspired the piece mostly, like especially this right part right here. If you look at the
Yes.
render again, you can see like this red light coming from the left. I really enjoyed
What is
that.
it called? The software that you're using to collect the I have it. I don't want to open it, not to mess up my stream.
The mood board.
Yes,
It's called PureRef.
yes, PureRef. This is
Yeah,
a very good software that you can use to sort of like gather references
yeah,
and the functionalities that it floats, and so you can have it always in front of anything that you're doing without losing the references. And I
right.
think it's only like $20 or something. There, it's
No, it's
also
free
free.
actually.
It's free, but you can make a donation or something, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I actually only got it for free. um, and and yeah, this is actually the image that I used to model the buildings. So back in 20, what was it, 2018, I think, or 29? I don't know. It was 2018, I believe. I actually used this image to create all the different buildings that are in the kit. Uh, you know, specifically like the bigger ones. Like, you can actually see this one, this weird hexagon-shaped building is right here. This one.
Yeah.
And we have this triangular building, which was this one. And yeah, you can find most of these like rear like background buildings in the kit. And then I had another image right here, which had a different color scheme, with the light rays that are in that movie a lot. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the mood board that I used. I only used 4 images because I didn't want to like overcrowd it. Like I didn't want to get too many different scenes into one because then it could
Yes.
sort of lose its look. Yeah,
It's fair
that's
enough.
all right.
Now, the reason why you and I are doing this stream, it's because people still have a month to
Yeah,
submit their image. There is plenty of time. There is a lot of prizes to be won, and there is the possibility to come to Vienna for the D2, which is going to be amazing. We have a nice lineup. Soon we're going to release the names of the artists that are going to be there and present and show their work and talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. Also, to me, that's the greatest thing about the D2 is the networking experience,
yes,
the chance to meet a lot of like-minded artists that are there for the same exact reason, get better, grow their network, and have a more fulfilling professional career, if you like.
yes.
But anyway, Fabian, open up the 3D model and walk me through the whole how you composed it, some of the tips and tricks that you have used that you might have picked up throughout, the years of doing this.
Wait, why is well like the image? Wait, hold on. Why does Octane not open? Oh, there we go. I was like weird. So I did this in portrait mode because I also wanted to use it as my daily render, and all my dailies are done in portrait mode. And if I find the time,
In
I
which
was
mode?
portrait mode, like just
Oh, portrait,
not white,
Okay,
not
sorry,
white
sorry.
screen. Yeah, and I'm actually also planning if I can manage it for the release, like once the challenge goes, like once the deadline for the challenge is over, I do want to release a widescreen wallpaper of it as well,
Okay.
like just a 4K like 4K
Oh,
16:9
beautiful.
wallpaper. But yeah, so the first thing you might notice is that the camera over here is like looking straight into the road, but the render view is upwards. This is something that Mike or Droki showed me coming
Mike
from
Golden.
Mike Golden, yes, showed me coming from the archivist world regarding vertical lines. So when you tilt the camera upwards, all the lines go like sort of outwards, right?
Yes.
And I really didn't want that because it doesn't like it's not the case in the movie either because everything is drawn and painted, so everything has like vertical lines, and you can do that by going into the thin lens viewing angle settings and just using a lens shift. So what I did actually is like position the camera straight and then like tilt the camera up, like tilt the like physically seen is it's like inside of the lens, it's like one glass tilted upwards, so it's actually looking up but without tilting the camera upwards. It's sort of hard to
But
explain actually.
can I ask you something? Because I
Yes.
used to use Cinema 4D a few years back.
Yeah.
This is now a function that you have in Octane, right?
Yes, this is in the Octane camera.
But there is also in Cinema 4D, like you can actually shift the camera upward in
I
Cinema
think
4D.
so, yes. I have not used the physical render in like 5 years, so I
No,
don't
no,
really
but
know,
I
but I'm
guess
pretty
that
sure, yeah.
this should work also in Octane because it's
Yes.
like basically it's a tilt shift, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It,
It
I
should
the
definitely work.
I used to use V-Ray, and I used to use V-Ray for Rhino, and in Rhino
Yeah.
there are no such functionalities for the camera.
Oh,
And
really?
so when I switched to Cinema 4D, because I could shift the lens up and down, this made it really fun to work with because all of
Yeah.
a sudden, you could visualize beautiful tall buildings from the
Mhm.
ground.
Right. Yeah, actually, like the idea for it came with you remember the D2 or was it I don't remember if it was your challenge or the D2 challenge, but the Hugh Ferris challenge.
Okay.
That's where I needed to use that technique, and I was like, Mike, can you please tell me how you do that because I can't make them look vertical. And yeah, that's definitely one thing that makes the scene look a lot better because if I turned it off, it was looking really weird.
But like I would say try it also in the native camera of Cinema 4D because then you actually see what it is that you're rendering. It's
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So if you go inside the if you reset the angle to 0 in the actual Octane,
Yeah.
then you should be able to do the shift. It should be in the basic, I think.
The basic.
No, then go to
What?
object. Yes, and so film offset. And so if you do film
That's that.
offset
Okay.
Y and X, this should give you the actual shift.
See, I didn't know that. That makes things a lot easier.
And
'Cause
then
I always.
another thing that I love about the camera in cinema, which also Blender has it, is that in the composition you actually have the lines that can help you compositing the shot.
Yeah, I know that one. The composition things. These ones. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't use these a lot, so like I make my composition by just how it feels, and most of the time I get the golden section without like without even look, because I know what images look like with the golden section. But like I use this mostly when I have two objects that I need to, put at a certain space, and I don't really know how symmetrical it is. Then I use the grid or the crosshair. But I rarely actually have that turned on.
You know, my problem personally is that I am so, like, I'm a control freak, and if I know that something it's out of line 3 pixels, I'm like, I cannot sleep at night. I have to get up and
That's
and
it.
fix the
But
project.
that's me as well. That's totally true. But since I work a lot with symmetry, like when I place buildings, for example, I put one to the left on, like, I don't know, 500 centimeters, and then I just copy the same building and flip it to the other side, and it's exactly centered.
Yes.
Um, that's like, it's just, you have to basically work symmetrical from the start, because once your camera is symmetrical and all your angles are right, placing the object is, you just have to know the numbers for it, and that's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah,
Fabian,
yeah.
sorry, I kept talking about this damn camera for way too long.
It's good because I didn't know. I learned something new about the physical camera.
And so, okay, so what was then the next step? I mean, I see that there is the Canada bike. We talked
Yeah.
already, you and I, about it. This is not a model that you made, it's a model that you
No.
downloaded from somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's to be completely honest, I don't remember the artist who made it, but it's actually from Sketchfab. And when you just go for AKIRA bike on Sketchfab, it's the first model that pops up.
Let me look for it.
Um,
I'll post a link in case.
yes, because usually I say, wait, actually, maybe I have saved the artist here, but usually I save them here, like wherever I put the model to. But yeah, no, it's not here anymore.
I'm guessing it's this Mike Blue G one. It does look similar to yours. Hold on, put the render back on.
Yeah.
Uh, might be wrong. But anyway, there are some beautiful motorbikes that can be
Yeah.
downloaded for free. I'm just gonna put a link here in the video. In the meanwhile, let me say hi to Adam, Arash, Matteo. They all joined to watch this. There are around 13 people watching the stream right now. It's cool. It's cool to have you guys here, and I hope that you get something of value out of this conversation.
Let me see if that's the right model, just out of curiosity. But it looks, yeah, that's the bike. That's exactly the model that I used.
There you go.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful bike, like
Yeah.
I would love to have a motorbike like this and just go around. It looks
Matteo
like
asked,
there is a stereo also.
Matteo asked if he can use the his own bike for the challenge.
Of
Yes,
course.
of course, right? It's as long as you use the buildings from my kit, you can use whatever other assets you want.
Of course.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go nuts. This is the challenge is for you to get the rules that we give you and break them, destroy them, smash them.
Yeah, and so like all the rest, like for example, wait, let me turn off the info so you can actually see the rest. All the other buildings, except for the ones that I created, are actually just the top parts of the Future Slums kit from Kitbash 3D. Like as you can see there, like this is the plane, the floor plane. They just
All
go
right.
below. So it's like I didn't want it to be too tall, so I just put them right in the floor. And of course, since I didn't want to have all these windows on ground level, I added. Let me see if I can see it here. I added, like for example, this garage element from Quixel in front of it, to sort of to get this garage right inside the alley, and right at the top there are the buildings. The windows are just textures of room interiors, no OSL textures, because I don't know how to use them yet. Because I want to learn how to use OSL, but it's really complicated.
I guess it's a little bit early to use OSL, like there isn't much choice out there. And what you end up is having the OSL materials that everybody's using.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
it's like,
mentioned, Sorry.
And for a still, it's like not even necessary, I think, because like
Exactly.
it becomes necessary once it's animated and you see like parallax effects or something like that.
You mentioned Quixel. Do you use what do you use from Quixel?
For this image, I used so there is. Let me see. There is all the trash bags here are Quixel.
So the 3D models and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
use.
expensive for an artist to use Quixel models?
No, I actually think it's the best price performance thing you can get at the moment. It's like I don't even know how much. Like, is it $15 a month? I think, and I have never used all the points that I got. So like I could just download stuff for days. Then I use, let's see, so a lot of textures are from Quixel as well as well, in the viewport you can't see it, but all this trash on the floor
Mm-hmm.
is actually just a texture. It's just a texture with a alpha map on it. So, and the displacement map, so you can just scatter all that on top of the road and make stuff dirty, looking really good. All these pipes here are also Quixel. The cool thing about Quixel is actually the models are really high quality, but they're
Heavy.
um, not very heavy, because you always have the option how, like, what resolution you want to download. You can decide between 1K and 8K and everything between. And depending on how much of the model is visible, I just use 1K, and it doesn't add a lot of power to the scene, which is great. Because I think the entire scene right here uses like 6 GB of VRAM, which was actually very surprising. I thought it would use more. Um,
I
then,
realized that I'm a really old, grumpy man because I never really download anything more than 2K.
well, you rarely need that actually. Like, I only need. I think the only assets in this entire image that are actually 8K is the trash, because it's like a lot of small elements, and that only for the displacement map and the puddle maps. So like the puddle in here is also created by Dizzy Viper's Puddle Maps Volume 4. Um, and that's also 8K. But those two are the only 8K assets there are. Actually, I think maybe even the windows are 8K, but I don't. No, I think those are 4K. Are they? Oh, actually, only 2K.
2K, there you go. You see? They look
Yeah, 'cause
great.
they're far away. It's just a waste of VRAM if it's too much. Like 8K is really only necessary for like close up roads or streets or something like that. But yeah, they rarely need 8K, I think.
Fabian, since I know that the question will pop up, can you share the specs of your rig?
Oh yeah, so I'm using two computers actually, but my main computer, I just recently upgraded it. So my main computer has an i9 9900K CPU, 128 GB of DDR4 RAM, and a RTX 3090. And my render slave, which I use, I mainly use it for animation, is a i9 9900K, 32 GB of VRAM, and two RTX 2080 Ti's.
Okay, great rig.
Yeah, so I can only recommend using two computers if you have the chance, because instead of upgrading your main computer to something insane, I think it's a lot better to get a second computer that is not super insane, just so you can render and still work on your other computer. Because like sometimes stuff is rendering for a week, and I wouldn't be able to work on anything in that time.
For sure.
I
Okay,
just ask if Quixel is free if you log into an Epic Games account. Yes, it is. You can also use that for free, but I think you can't use it commercially if you use that method. But
but
you can.
also the issue is that you can only download the models directly into Unreal. You
Actually,
cannot
no, it does work with Cinema too.
really.
Yes, I was using that version a few months ago still. When I only did it for everydays, I just used the Unreal Engine method, but it still lets you export it into Cinema 4D and Octane.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Sartak, thanks a lot for saving me $15 a month.
Yeah, it's really really cool. And the coolest thing actually about Quixel recently is that they added the Christoph Schindler RD textures there because they bought the company, and
Hmm.
I think Christoph Schindler is the absolute best when it comes to 3D scanning. Like there's no competition. And seeing them now in Quixel is something actually really cool because you can load them in a lot quicker. And yeah, just really nice. So you get a lot more value for your $15 now.
Chris is an amazing artist.
Yeah.
I've known him personally. We worked together also in the past,
Mhm.
and he's been speaking at the D2, and he basically comes every year to just to
Yeah,
say hi.
I hope to meet him finally because I
Oh, you
only
haven't yet?
no, I haven't. Like I only started talking to him like shortly after the last D2 that I was at, and ever since, like we just chatted every now and then, and he actually gifted me a kit for my birthday once, and I was like, this is so
Oh,
nice.
that's
And like
amazing. Yeah,
since then we talk every now and then.
he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going through the project. I'm curious finally to see how you managed to put all the buildings in the background and make them look like huge scale.
Yeah, so actually they are huge scale, but they like if you look at that like right here, it's like just a bunch of randomly scaled buildings behind our scene, and they're actually very far away. And to get this bottom shine, that you always get these different colors.
Mm-hmm.
You get this purple in the front and this very bright yellow in the back and some orange at the top. They're just different colored
Square
area,
lights.
yeah, just area lights at the bottom of the buildings. Um, and all these light shines are just triangles.
Yes.
So like just triangles with a pink emission and a gradient with black and white gradient in the opacity channel, so they fade away once they get far away. You can obviously also do that in post editing. It's also working quite well, but I wanted to try if it actually works out to do it directly in Cinema 4D. I actually did not tilt any buildings. I thought I would have to, but I didn't. Although I did add some random rotation to them just to. Actually, mainly I did the random rotation just to don't have any reflections on the buildings, because the problem that I faced while making them all straight was that these bottom planes they started reflecting in some areas in the building, and it looked really weird. There is still a building that reflects weirdly, but I fixed that in post. And all the windows in here, they are just an emission map on a black plane of several windows that I did. I made this in Photoshop with basically just single. Wait, let me see if I can. Can I open this? Where is this? Oh, in the Windows tab. Yeah, I basically just downloaded a texture of like 2 different windows, I think it was, and just pasted them onto a black plane randomly, and you get the texture like this. I changed the hue a little bit so they become a little bit more orange, and yeah, I just put them all across the buildings.
You should
Some of
make a
them
Windows pack and sell it. I will buy it in a minute.
I would, but I don't have the rights to the actual.
Okay, because
I don't have the redistribution rights to the actual textures, so
I
I
get
would
it.
have to go around the office buildings and do this myself. And I did actually. These are not stretched, but at the top, like some here are really stretched. Because in the movie they have like this very, like super stretched textures that look just so unique, I think. And I
Fabian,
use the same texture over the entire building.
it's safe to say that the 3D model that you have created is the reason why there are so many trust issues between artists and clients.
Yeah,
Because everything is fake.
yeah, a lot of stuff is fake. Um, but that's the thing. Like, I don't think that's some clients have a problem with stuff being fake, but I like the real thing is like when you're faster doing it fake and it looks the same, you're saving yourself a lot of time and you're saving the client money. Like it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Fabian, you know how many times I've had conversations with a client. I remember there was a specific case when a client, we did a rendering of the entrance of a lounge, airport lounge,
Yeah.
and the guy said, "Yeah, but this corridor is too is too small. You've made it too narrow. We have to make it bigger. Okay, I'll go back to my 3D program. I'll make the wall like a meter and a half bigger, and then my colleague says to the client, he says, yeah, but now the measurements are fake because they do not respect the and the guy was like, I didn't ask you to make it fake. And I'm like, so what did you ask? It's like
Yeah, that happens a lot when the clients don't really understand how 3D space actually works. So they ask for things that are just impossible to do. Um, yeah, like specifically with reflections. Sometimes the ones I heard, like, can you make a mirror reflection of a person, but the person shouldn't be. Why is the person mirrored in the mirror? I'm like, because it's a mirror. Well, can you make it not mirrored but like real? I'm like, well, then I have to flip the actual model. No, don't do that.
Fabian, you know how many renderings we have given to clients where the bed was half in the wall?
Uh, yeah, it's
It
hilarious.
is what it is,
I mean,
you
the
know.
best example is here as well. Like all the buildings go through the floor, and you don't know.
Exactly.
Not now everybody knows, but
And it works.
like, look, there are floating chairs around here. These are very important for the scene because they reflect the light in a certain way that it's the creme de la creme of 3D.
Fabian, how long did it take you to create the this whole composition and final render?
So I worked like in 3D space. I worked on it for about 4 days,
Four
on and off.
days.
Not for the entire day, of course, but I think in hours, I would say like probably 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
And then rendering was about an hour, and post editing another 2 or 3 hours because I actually had to fix a lot of things with lighting and color space and stuff. Because I did actually use Aces for the entire render, which was showed to me by Adam, who's in the chat right now. And
Hold on, say it again. Aces? What is this?
it's a color space.
Ah, okay, okay. The Aces
So
color space.
like
Okay.
sRGB.
Yes, yes.
It's the color space, and what I love about it, I can actually show you the scene without Aces to show you
Sure.
what I love about Aces. Um, Aces has a way of of making red lights look insanely good. So now if I go to sRGB, for example, what you will see is that this red looks a lot more flat and almost like pink. No, well, not pink, but like it just doesn't look very nice. Whereas if I go back to Aces, it gets this it gets a lot darker, but it gets this really nice looking red, especially when it comes to the actual light sources. Because in Octane, sometimes red light sources, they have like this single color in the middle and then a shine that doesn't really, it
Match
just
the
doesn't
color.
look like it should work. And Aces actually fixes it, which is great. So I do use Aces a lot lately. The only
I
downside of Aces is that you can't use the camera imager or LUTs. Like you can't use this. Uh,
because theoretically it's already a lot that is applied
yeah,
to.
exactly.
Okay.
Like
I,
I
I
think
have
the
to say
only
I never heard of it. How do you spell it?
Aces, like Javier said, put in the
Okay.
chat, ACES. And yeah, I think the only two options that work here is the highlight compression and the exposure, but you can't do anything with gamma because it's already gamma setting. Yeah, and then I added some neon signs, which are also just textures on planes.
Those neon signs, they look like the ones from um, is it a model pack or is it something that you have created yourself?
Well, no, it's just a bunch of textures from textures.com.
Okay.
So if I go to the sign, as you can see, it's just a plane,
Okay, I see.
and it's, well, no, where is it? So it's just a texture right here, one in the emission tab, and then one in the opacity channel. And important in the emission channel, always use double-sided because otherwise you don't get this nice glow on the outside.
Sure,
So if I
because it doesn't reflect on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, if I turn this off, it looks really
Yes.
flat. But if I use double-sided, it gets this nice shine around it. And then I used a purple arrow light coming from the left side to sort of get this distinction between the foreground and the background, so you can actually see that there is a road going sideways. Otherwise, this crease right here between this building and that building wouldn't even be visible, and it would
Yes.
look like a closed, what's it called?
Alley.
No, like when the street ends, when there is it's a dead end.
A dead end. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
and would you mind? I think that as far as I'm concerned, you have answered all the actual questions related to the 3D. I'm curious to see the post production work that you did on this.
yeah, so the post production work, it's not a lot of work on it. Like it's mainly just messing around with different color settings. Let me open it.
Just want to say to all of you watching from home, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hi, Amin. Hi, Adam, Javier, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here. You know, smash that like button, maybe share this video, let people know that the actual challenge is still ongoing because I really want to see a bunch of entries. I mean, you have done a fantastic one in 4 days, people still have a month. There is no really excuse not to
Mm.
participate to this challenge. You got a chance to win a ticket for the D2, so why
Indeed.
not?
That's by the way one thing that daily renders have as a disadvantage. I sort of unlearned how to spend more time on renders. Like, you know, I got very fast doing this. So like 4 days, spending 4 days on a render is a lot of time for me already.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of would like to know what I can pull off when I work on it for a month, but I just run out of ideas after like a week because I like the render looks good the way it looks, and I don't know what to add anymore. So that's something that I enjoyed doing while working on this project actually, because usually I only spend a few hours on a render, and now I spend a few days on it, with more time in between, and it turned out better than like it turned out really good, I think, compared
But you
to.
know, Fabian, let me tell you, we were discussing and we were chatting before. I told you that I went back to do production. Um, there is a difference working on projects nowadays in comparison to say 4 or 5 years ago. I think I stopped doing production in 2017. Before the times for delivery were a lot longer. Now things are getting a lot tighter, and especially if you work in the field of social media, if you do marketing, that kind of stuff, which it is what I'm doing right now. You don't really have a very long time to do things. You know, sometimes projects need to be done in 2 days, and you need to be able to pull all the tricks out of your hat to
Yeah.
deliver in that small time frame. But I do think that the software now allow for a faster turnover.
Yeah. And I think there are, like, what I also noticed, there are a lot more sources for assets and textures now.
Yes.
Because when I started doing 3D, I remember like the one, pretty much the only asset packs that were on the market were Kitbash. Like,
I'm old school. Before we had Evermotion.
oh, Evermotion, yes, Well, I do use Evermotion still for plants and some HDRIs, because they have a lot of stuff, so I still do like it. And I won that pack on the D2 challenge. At the render challenge. Do you remember?
All right, yeah.
Where the winner got to pick three, and the loser got to pick one, and I got to pick one.
But you know, like the crowd was drunk.
Yes, it was great,
We were all drunk.
and I can't wait to repeat it.
Actually, we're looking for a one artist for this year's competition, modeling competition on stage at the D2. So if anyone wants to participate, shoot me an email or write me a message. You can find me on Instagram. This is the fastest place where you can reach me. And let's talk. I need an artist for the actual rendering competition. Do you mind sharing your experience doing the rendering competition at the D2 so that
Oh,
people know what they can expect?
the entire challenge, it was actually pretty funny. It was on stage at the D2, and each of us had I don't remember if it was 20 or 40 minutes actually. I think it was 40. Is that possible?
Could be.
So we had like me and Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel
Uh,
Trovato.
yeah, he's from a archivist studio in Italy as well, and we both had to render an image in 40 minutes on stage with certain models from Evermotion, and the rules were basically that you are not allowed to use the live viewer while working. And if you do, every time you open the live viewer, you had to take a shot of beer or vodka. It was, I think, once you had to take a shot of vodka, and then the other one was a shot of beer, and so on.
But you also had a shot of beer and a shot of vodka every 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's true. True. It was a shot of vodka every time you use a live viewer, and a shot of beer every 6 minutes. That was the rule. Now I remember. And so yeah, so everybody who watches my live streams knows that I use a lot of live viewers. So it got very bad very quickly, and but it was so much fun, and I ended up losing because I'm just not used to working without a live viewer. It was really really difficult, and Samuel had a really good idea, and like his render was really dope. And yeah, so after 40 minutes, both of us were drunk as heck, and yeah, and then and that was that. And it was sponsored by Evermotion, so each of us got a cool kit to choose, and I still use that kit every now and then.
Okay, Fabian, let's talk about the post production. So there
Yes,
was a question. The red God rays light were done in post production.
yes, they're done in post. So if I turn them off, wait, there we go. So these are because I did like the way it looked, but the red light wasn't as present as I wanted it to be. So I thought adding some God rays to it would be nice. And I found this really cool texture that actually had this black line in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and I placed it exactly over this fence post right here, so it actually looks like it's blocking the light, which worked out very well. Another thing that I added was let me turn off all the passes really quick so you can see. So this is the raw. Um, and rendering, I saw, it's a little bit flat, and especially down here, the reflections and the brightness is like it's way too dark. You can't really see a lot of the stuff down there. So what I did, I added a light reflection pass to this, which is just this pass right here. It's just all the reflections, which is unfortunately it got really noisy, and I don't know why. I guess it's because the denoiser doesn't work with reflection passes. Um, so I basically just added a blur on top of it, um, and then I added this glow effect right here, which is just a little fog that basically creates some more details at the top behind the building. As you can see, this clouds. Um, then what's this down here? Oh yeah, this is down here. Another like a little bit of fog at the bottom, just to fog laying at the floor. It's also a free texture, by the way. There's this pack called 191 free VFX kit or something like that, which is
Okay.
it's free, and it's like almost 200 4K video files for like
191 free.
yeah 190. Let me pull it up because I don't know the exact name. It's called 101 free essentials kit.
Essential
191. Sorry,
kit.
it's
Let me see if I can find it.
I was actually looking it up on stream once, and I couldn't find the free version anymore. Maybe it
Okay.
costs now, but this was like back in 2018 when I got this kit. It's like really good.
No, it doesn't seem to be available.
Oh, then so I took it down. It was too good to last, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah, then I added one of my signature textures that I use almost every single time, which is this cloud texture right here. This one. I use this in like 90% of my renders. It's always the same texture. And I used the Z depth pass to use it as an opacity pass for these clouds, so they only appear in the back. Like the deeper the scene goes, the more present the clouds will be. And yeah, then I added some more reflection paths and these god rays. I brightened up the image a little bit and then corrected the overall. Well, actually, this, as you can see, like some of the noise with the reflection paths really ended up breaking some of the image.
Mm-hmm.
So I added, like, I masked some stuff out to not have it, to just not show those reflections anymore. They're still a little bit down there, but at the bottom it looks more like detail than noise.
Yes.
Whereas on the bike itself, it did just look horrible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can tell.
And yeah, so these are the different layers that I used just to, as you can see, like, it was mainly color correction and brightness correction to show all the details there are, because it's always annoying if you have a lot of detail in your scene and it doesn't show because the lighting is a little bit off. And instead of fixing all of that in Cinema 4D afterwards, you can do it in post. And one more thing I forgot to add is this light on the puddle and on the bike is actually also fake. So it looks like the open sign is creating this light, but it's actually not. It's just a area light right behind the bike that creates this this reflection in the puddle and on the bike.
This is the power of 3D.
Yeah, because the problem would be if I would have to make the neon sign brighter in order to be able to see it on the bike.
Yes.
And then the bloom effect of the camera would be way too much.
Yeah.
So it's just a fake texture. And
Yes.
I actually think that's the entire breakdown. There's not much more there.
So let me give a couple of minutes to people to ask questions in case there are any. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that this was very well explained. It makes a lot of sense, everything that you have done. It was clear where you got the inspiration from. It's amazing, the fact that you did it in relatively short time, because still, like 8, 9 hours, 10, let's say 10 hours on a work like this, it's still relatively little as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's see if there are any questions from those watching from home. Otherwise, let me just remind everybody that the challenge is still ongoing. You'll find the rules in the description of the video. You have time until the 30th of May to hand in the actual project. And then the week after, we're going to be on a live. There will be judges. Fabian will be one of the judges. We're gonna discuss the projects that people will submit. Fabian, you personally, what do you expect to see from this challenge? Do you think that people are going to hand in sort of like the same type of image? Do you expect people to sort of like break out of the scheme and do different things? What are you hoping for this challenge?
Actually, I hope to see diversity. Not really. It doesn't have to be something completely different in that sense, but like I would love to see both of what you just explained. Like one AKIRA fan art, so to say, like when like the typical AKIRA scenes with these giant buildings in the back and stuff like that. I would love to see how people actually do it, because everybody has a different workflow. But I would also enjoy seeing people doing something completely out of the box with the buildings. I mean, I have only an example for stuff like this. For example, the Vitaly Bulgarov megastructure kit, which is those are building models, but I mainly use those buildings to build spaceships, because it works very well for spaceships. And I would also I would be very interested to see if people use it for something completely different other than a building.
I did not know that he had a kit bash, but I'm putting a link here so that people can look at it. But it is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite kit bashes, actually. It's not my kit bash 2D, but it's one of these kit bashes that you can use for almost anything. Like, it's not this is a building. you can build whatever you want with it. You can use it as greebles or whatever. Like
Vitaly
a lot of
Bulgarov is an amazing artist. Is
yeah,
so talented.
best robotics on the market.
Yeah, he's so good that I hate him.
It's he was actually also one of my first asset packs that I've ever got. Like it was along with Kit Bash and then Vitaly Bulgarov.
Yeah, I've had I know artists who have done mentorships with him, and they told me he's incredible. Like
Mhm.
he's so knowledgeable, and he knows just so much stuff. It's Anyway. I posted the actual kit bashes that he has.
I love how he
I guess
still
that
uses.
the one that
I
you
love
mentioned is the megastructure one, right?
yes, right. I love how he still uses old software. It's like interesting. He still uses Softimage for doing all this stuff, which is like 20 years old.
Until Autodesk is going to block his license. You can't use this anymore.
Yeah, that would maybe he already switched. I don't know. I just remember like 3 years ago he was still using Softimage, which is
Softimage is an amazing software. I do remember that when I started out with 3D, a lot of the artists they would not make the shift to say 3ds Max or any other software because they loved Softimage. And then I remember that from a day to another, the production of the software was killed.
yeah.
And I
Well,
do remember talking. Huh?
sorry, wasn't it just sort of replaced by Fusion 360 now?
No, I don't think so. I think that Alias replaced
Oh,
was
okay.
replaced by, but I might be wrong. Anyway, the thing is that I do remember talking to somebody from Autodesk many years ago, and they told me that the reason why they had to shut it down is that they had worldwide maybe 1,200 users of
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Softimage.
That's not a lot. Yeah.
Uh, anyway, it's politics at the end of the day, so.
Yeah.
Fabian, I want to thank you so much for taking an hour of your time on a Sunday. It's
My
like
pleasure.
it's a sacrifice, but it's always nice to hang out with you. I really look forward to seeing you in person again at the
Yes.
D2 this year
Same.
after such a long time being isolated and not seeing human beings. Uh,
Yeah.
but I look forward to the actual judging, which is going to
Yeah, me
happen
too.
in a month or so.
In a month. When is it? The 30th, right? Is the deadline?
The 30th is the deadline, and the actual show, I think it's the week after.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter. The important thing is that the deadline is on the 30th.
Yes.
Please do respect it because there is a lot of people that end in their work, and then like people forget about it and they're like, oh, I did not know. And we try to do our best, but the thing is that we have to send the images to the judges, and so if you give it to us after that the selection is already made, we cannot really do much to fix the issue. But anyway, 30th of May, this is the deadline. Work really hard, you have a lot of time, have fun. This is a chance for you to you know do something a little bit different from maybe what you do professionally. uh, Break the rules. We actually appreciate when people come to us with ideas that are total like, screw you, I want to do this instead. Make it relevant. Like, do not come with something Pikachu or Pokemon if it has nothing to do with Akira. Make sure that we understand that it's an Akira project. Use the buildings that Fabian has given out for free. Have fun, and we'll see each other in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Fabian, I'm gonna stop the stream. Thanks a lot for doing this, and don't go
For sure.
anywhere so that I can say goodbye one more time. Again, big shout out to our sponsors: Sinai, Maxon, Autodesk, our main sponsor. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Maybe share it so that more people can join. And good luck, everybody, and have a nice Sunday.
Yeah.